One of the good things of playing at Chelsea when I was there is every season we bring down a whole bunch of Scottish people, which made me pretty happy. One of the things uh, I've got Kevin came down, and we had some group of Scots there, but it was Kevin came down, and I don't think he was seen as a replacement for me because we played very similar positions, but we played them in a very different way. But when he came in, the Chelsea fans had really taken me to their heart. So it kind of was hard for him because people thought, oh, you nudging Pat out of the way. And it's not the way it was. Apart anything else, we got on great, Kevin and I. By the way, you'll notice I don't call him Crunchie. I never have. I've always called him Kevin. But I really admired him as a player. Work rate was fantastic, but skill levels were really up there with the players that he was playing with in the Premier, the very top league in England. And the other side of it is Kevin came down to Chelsea when I was there, and we had a front line generally of myself, Kerry Dixon, David Speedy. And it was a front line that scored a lot of goals and made a lot of goals. And I think my numbers, I was more of a goal scorer than Kevin, but Kevin's did lots of other things that I didn't do. But our backup forward line would have been Kevin McAllister, Duncan Shearer, and Billy Dodds, and sometimes Gordon Jury. And you're thinking, that's not a bad backup line. That's all right, They're all, apart from Kevin, Scottish internationals. And that's a big deal about Kevin not getting the Scottish international because I think there isn't much doubt, and I've said it many times before, the best player I've ever seen, Scottish player who didn't get a cap. Without a doubt. I don't even need to think about that. Definitely the best player I ever seen who didn't get a cap for Scotland, and that's a bit of a travesty and a bit unfair. I found it difficult getting into the Scotland squad. I get 28 caps over a 10-year period, and only 15 of them were starts. So we had a pretty decent team at the time. But more specifically, when both Kevin and I really reached our peaks, Scotland didn't play with wingers. That's the problem. We played often 5-3-2, sometimes 3-5-2, and the white players were often wing backs. Okay, against San Marinos and Ferros, etc., you play with wide players and play a 4-4-2 or a 4-3-3. But at the time, Andy Roxburgh and Craig Brown often went for 3-5-2. And you're kind of stuffed as a winger. I mean, both of us were perfectly capable of doing that. Problem is, both Kevin and I think if you ask Kevin as well, do you see yourself purely as a winger? I don't think at any point in our careers we ever did. We're perfectly capable of playing midfield. We're perfectly capable of playing as a 10 or, even a 9. But because of the way football was at the time, not many people were playing half positions, apart from sometimes in international football. So Kevin, it wasn't because he wasn't good enough. It was just circumstances. That's why he didn't get his Scotland cap. That's it. Not that you're not good enough, pure circumstances. One of the brilliant things about the time at Chelsea is we used to now and again play 2 games in 2 days. And there was once we played Southampton in the league and we beat them 1-0, but then we had to play the cup final, full members cup final at Wembley the day afterwards. And it was absolutely full. Chelsea hadn't been to Wembley in a cup final of any type. I remember thinking, I don't know how important this game is. And it turned out Chelsea fans, it was the biggest thing in the world for them. They were going mad. We were playing Man City. And the great thing was, again, there was a whole bunch of Scots playing that day, Speedy, myself, Kevin. And it was great to have the 2 wingers playing then because we as you can tell, we ran rampant. We got 5 goals, and we were terrorising them, which was a great thing. But with others like Joe McLaughlin, Doug Rigby, it really was almost a Scottish team that we had out there that won a trophy at Wembley. The year before, 2 years before, I won the championship with them, which was League 2 at the time, to get into the top league. And that was the first thing Chelsea had won for about nearly a decade. And then we'd won that cup, and I thought, yeah, we'll keep on winning lots of cups. Well, we didn't, but it was another brilliant moment. And I've got a book coming out quite soon, and that picture's in it of myself, Kevin, Doug, and all the rest of it celebrating with that cup in front of the Chelsea fans. And then again, an absolutely fantastic memory. And you can't take that away. It's a cup final. It's at Wembley. And you got a winner's medal. If I have to sit and think of Kevin, One of my favourite moments is it's Chelsea winning, would you believe it, all red. For a while, we were all red as our away kit, like it's unthinkable. But we were trying to stay in the top division. It's right at the end of my time at Chelsea. I was just about to leave. I agreed to go to Paris Saint-Germain, and we were playing up at Blackburn Rovers in a playoff to stay in the league, in the top division. Anyway, I scored a goal up at Ewood Park against Blackburn from 20 yards. And there's a moment where everyone's exhausted. It's a boiling hot day, but only 3 players sprint to jump on top of us, right, and celebrate. The rest of them, either it didn't mean enough or I don't know what, but Stevie Clark, Gordon Jury, and Kevin came flying over, and it was just there's this lovely moment of us 4 Scotsmen in the middle of at Chelsea trying to save Chelsea together. And we were kind of the ones that were doing it more than anyone else. And we kind of, in the end, get to the final, we ended up getting beaten in the final. And it was infuriating and maddening because I knew I was leaving. The upside of it was Kevin would get more opportunities. We're going down in division, but I ended up signing for Everton after expecting to sign for PSG. But at that time, I remember thinking, us Scots lads, we're here trying to save this lot. I wish they would all work as hard as us and cared as much as us. And that was part of the problem. And it felt a wee bit like a real band of brothers at that moment. In the end, it didn't work. It didn't last. But that's a kind of a frozen memory of Kevin and I together, which was really fantastic because it was him that had broken up the left wing. It created the chance that eventually fell for me 20 yards out. So it's a real lovely final memory of Chelsea, but also a great memory of us 4 Scots together, and Kevin was an important part of it. There are not that many players, I don't think, who are completely and utterly synonymous with a single club that they are basically a legend. And it's kind of odd. You look back sometimes and you think, why does that happen? You've got to do a lot of things. You've got to be, a part of a club, a part of what is almost the infrastructure of the club. Every single fan knows who you are, and you've got heart and love for the club. But it helps if you're a hell of a good player as well. And there's actually not that many. If you start looking around, you're talking about people like Sir Kenny Dalglish has got to stand, Sir Alec Ferguson stand, that sort of thing. So, if you think of Falkirk, I would immediately think of Kevin McAllister as the person you would have to honour. I think 3 occasions playing for Falkirk, but it's what he done there, including the amount of games, the amount of goals, attitude, and length of service and how long he played for, which is unbelievable, like absolutely unbelievable. So basically, good luck with the campaign, and Kevin deserves it.